It all starts when Alfred Pennyworth notices the return of Bane from Ark M to Gotham, so he just thinks about him and how he has become an absolute version of himself. Alfred's thoughts weigh heavily on him as he remembers the night with Batman. He recalls sitting in the Batmobile crossing the bay, wanting to warn him about someone dangerous. The words were on the tip of his tongue, but when Batman looked at him, he froze and instead wished him good luck, like a foolish old man. Deep down, he admits he was afraid, not just of the man, but of saying his name aloud, of making him real. Now, as that same man moves closer to Batman, Alfred feels regret. He wishes he had spoken that night, because the truth is clear. It is the story of Bane and how he breaks Batman's back. It all begins on an island called Santa Prisca, where there is always fighting. It's like a war-torn zone, and Bane is born in that time. The people there threw out the Spanish, the French, and even the Dutch. This place has so much the world would want. Bane's father is a rebel leader and runs a group called Cielos Libres. This group is fighting for their freedom for over 100 years, and before Bane's father, it was his father and grandfather who led this group for years. It's like a hierarchy transferred down to Bane's father. This group's flag shows Santa Prisca's national bird, the royal quetzal, and its specialty is that it dies in captivity but rises high in the sky. Bane's father always mentions that to his son, that one day, when they become victorious, that bird will be free forever. Bane has the same love for this land as his father. He also loves the place and wants to make it a free land for themselves. But when he thinks about his father's theory of the bird and its release into freedom, he just can't connect the dots. It feels like no vision, no result comes out of that. Still, he always agrees with his father, saying that he too sees one day the bird will be free. One day, in order to feel his father's vision, Bane takes jojoba seeds before sleep. But when he stares at the flag, he only sees a terrible bird with a burning back, like a skull. All of a sudden, he wakes up screaming like hell. Years go by like that, and Bane grows, trains, and studies harder to follow in his father's footsteps, to be the next leader of Cielos Libres. Under his leadership, the group makes progress. Then comes the day. It's not an ordinary day, when the group, under his and his father's leadership, takes hold of the capital. But before they can celebrate their victory, just 3 days later, foreign troops are sent there to crush the rebellion and take them all into custody. Bane, his father, and all their people are sentenced to life in Peñaduro prison, which is an infamous place on Santa Prisca's coast. 2 years pass in that prison. Bane's father is still full of hope and positive feelings about his vision of peace and freedom. He believes that no one will be able to break them. Every night in that prison, cold water floods the cells, forcing prisoners to either drown or hang on the cage roof for survival. From that, Bane learns how to sleep while hanging from the cage. He also learns to pick jigger fleas from his skin after he gets down in the morning, and sometimes he even eats rats for survival. During those days, one time a computer is smuggled in, and on its screen a picture of a quetzal is pinned. It looks very small, too damn small and weak, and it horrifies Bane to see it. But his father gives him hope and belief, saying that one day the quetzal will fly free, and they will not bow down to anyone. Almost 4 years pass in that prison. Some of the group's men try to turn their backs against Bane's father, but Bane fights them off. Bane's father always tells him, while they both hang on the cage roof at night, "Can you see the bird fly?" And Bane has no answer to that. 9 years go by, and one day Bane closes his eyes and remembers his own bird, the one made with white fire and the skull on its back. On that night, while hanging, he finally agrees to his dad that yes, he sees the bird fly. After all these years in prison, this makes Bane an absolute version of himself. One day, he makes a plan to break free from prison with all the remaining members of the group, to go back to the island and take hold of it once and for all. When they try to break out of prison, it alerts all the security guards. One of them tries to stop them, but Bane literally crushes him with his bare, giant hands. With that, he and all the group members crush all the security guards and make it to the coast. They manage all this under Bane's leadership, who is fully grown now. They even make garrots from dried fish guts. They do the unthinkable, and all because of Bane. Meanwhile, there are rumors about Santa Prisca Island, that a lot has changed over there. With all these thoughts going over Bane, his father, and all Cielos Libres members, they managed to climb onto the boats which they had already planned earlier, securing them near the beach. When they all climb inside the boats, Bane's father stops him and gives him the mask, a mask of the very flag itself. He puts his trust in Bane, telling him that he is that bird, the Quetzal, the one he always reminded his son about. His son is now the vision of their freedom and peace. Bane's father's eyes get wet, but he hides his emotions as Bane takes the mask and wears it right away. Together they head towards Santa Prisca Island. When they reach near the island, Bane keeps thinking about the brutal fighting he expects to happen in order to take control. He starts planning and strategizing with the group members. But when they finally reach the island, there are no troops, no army, no tanks. On the beach, Bane sees no one except one man dressed in an all-white suit. And it is none other than the Joker, the absolute Joker, surrounded by girls who are partying with him. Joker warmly welcomes Bane by calling out his name. When Bane gets close, Joker gets straight to business, saying to him, "I have an offer for you, Bane." As Bane goes with Joker a little farther to talk privately about the offer, his father watches from afar. He sees both Joker and his son, and he can't understand what is going on. Who the hell is this man in the white suit? Maybe it's the Joker's ugly smile. Maybe it's the girls around him. But to Bane's father, it makes no good feeling about that. Just as Bane's father tries to intervene, Joker ends the conversation. He taps Bane's chest, tips his own hat a little, and then leaves the place. Bane's father feels a sense of relief as he watches Joker and his girls get on a helicopter and fly away. He becomes emotional because they've just taken control of the island, and all he wants to do is hug his son tightly, the one who led them to victory. Bane turns around too with the same feelings for his father. He also wants to hug him. Bane tells his father if he can see it, the very dream of peace, the one his father always talked about. With that, Bane gets close and hugs his father tightly. They hug it out, and his father responds that yes, he can clearly see it. He can see the dream of peace in his son. But before his father can express more, Bane does the very unexpected. He blows out his father's back with his closed bare hands, ending his life. From that moment, the real story of Bane begins. Because after this, he becomes the lead enforcer of the Joker, conducting multiple operations in order to fulfill Joker's interests, like a diplomat's plane exploding over Guangzhou, a journalist slain in Dubai, the slaughter of pirates in the Red Sea, and many more. We see that he injects some kind of venom into his body, which transforms him into the figure known as Bane, the absolute beast version. That venom includes a mixture of acids, proteins, and compound activators that make him strong enough to control his own muscles. Not just the muscles, it also enhances his mind like a pro. Before that venom, he could barely learn so much. But now, after injecting it into his veins, he can hold the knowledge of entire libraries in his head. Every fighting method is known to him. Every weapon, every act of ancient warriors that brought them victory. Now all of it is in Bane's hands and mind. He knows everything. He knows every strategy. He becomes the unbreakable beast. And now, in between telling the story of Bane, Alfred imagines how Batman would fight against him. Alfred envisions Batman facing this absolute version of Bane, the fight turning into a brutal rampage. He thinks Batman would draw up a plan against Bane, just like Bane once did as a young boy on Santa Prisca. Batman would do this because Gotham is his home, and he knows everything about it. So he would form a plan according to that. He would let Bane go ahead and take the first hit, just so Bane becomes overconfident, feeling sure about his victory, exactly where Batman wants him to be. Right then, Batman would yell at him, something like saying Bane will never take Gotham City away from him. Or maybe, welcome to Gotham City. Just something to distract him for a short moment. And then, Batman would set off all the bat bombs on Bane, only to see him recover in less than a second, coming back again, hunting Batman. Alfred imagines that Bane would come back and land a mighty blow on Batman, breaking him off completely as blood pours from his mouth. It feels like Batman cannot win this fight, not against this version of Bane, because there isn't a single plan of attack or strategy that Bane doesn't already know or hasn't mastered. Most of all, he knows Batman too, because Bane was like Batman once, when he was that young boy back on Santa Prisca. With that, Batman tries to use his axe to bring Bane down, but no, that can't happen. Bane simply stops Batman's hand, takes the axe away, and slices off one of Batman's arms brutally, and then the other arm too. Alfred thinks that this Bane has now become that very bird from his own vision long ago, not his father's Quetzal, but the burning creature he once dreamed about. Bane then tells Batman to open his eyes. Batman, in unbearable pain, kneels down in front of him, completely lost. Bane rips off the axe's handle, picks up the blade, and as Batman starts begging for mercy, Bane yells again for him to just freaking open his eyes wide open. He smashes the blade on Batman's face so hard that the blade splits in half. At this moment, Alfred remembers what Joker once offered Bane. Joker had told him that his father's plan to seize Santa Prisca by force had failed before and would always fail, because too many outside powers wanted control of the island. Even if peace was won, war would always return. Bane accepted this as the truth. Joker then offered him a deal. He would use his wealth and power to keep Santa Prisca independent, prosperous, and safe. But in return, Bane had to serve him. To prove his loyalty, Joker demanded that Bane kill his own father, and that is exactly what Bane did. Alfred then imagines Bane, after crushing Batman, dragging him to Joker's doctor. There, they would perform the same kind of procedures they once did on Bane. Alongside them would be other skilled individuals who would eventually become Joker's allies and work for his interests. It was Bane's duty to track such people and bring them to Joker for those same experiments. Alfred envisions how Bane would then offer Batman the same choice that Joker once offered him on that beach, the acceptance of Venom's power. And to tempt him, Bane would show Batman what he himself gained after accepting that deal. When he returned to Santa Prisca, he saw children walking to school, women riding bikes, cafes full of students, and a land thriving in peace. He even had a wife and children there. When he came home, his kids would run to him in joy, knowing their father had made their island thrive. Now Bane would offer the same to Batman, to become the hero, the very hero Gotham City needs. But Alfred, in his heart, knows that Batman would never choose to break. He just can't, because that's what Batman is all about. And Bane surely knows this too. He knows Batman won't break in this way. So instead of knocking on Batman's door, Bane goes after Batman's special friends, because he knows that's how you break the Bat. We see Bane tracking down and approaching Harvey Dent, Eddie, and Penguin in Gotham City.